I used to work at a club called Revolutions. It's like a chain in the UK or in Europe. And I was a doorman there. I actually became like assistant head doorman. And you get pussy, right? Because it always comes back down to that. And
that's why we do everything.
yeah. And I'd be training so hard that I'd be so tired. But then I'd have to go to the doors, and I'd get to the good stage with some chick or whatever, and they'd be like, "Oh, so where do you live?" Like, in a gym. Try to go, and I'm not saying it never happened, but like it's much harder to convince a girl to come back to
your gym.
to a gym and sleep on the floor with you than
hey,
it
baby,
is.
look at my mats.
Yeah, exactly. But what I loved about that experience, there was a guy called John Maguire who also fought in the UFC. He was like my mentor or like main training partner for a long time, as well as Jack.
Mm-hmm.
And he ended up staying in the gym with me. Like he lived about an hour away, but he'd come up and stay, and we would train together like 6 hours a day, 7 hours a day, like grappling, and he'd teach me so much. And like we really were on this fucking journey, like a proper journey. And I think that's, again, because of my consistency in the way I think and my brain, I was like so involved in the process, like becoming the best version of myself as a fighter as I could be. But everything else, I talk about pussy and I make jokes, but it all like didn't matter. None of that mattered to me. I wasn't bothered about anything else apart from trying to become the best fighter I could be. And I had a lot of, you call it luck, but I wouldn't call it luck. It's like a lot of advantages. I just ended up going to the right gym with the right people, with the right mentality that really, really helped me. Like I said, Nigel letting me stay at the gym, like John and Jack just like mentoring me and whatever. And if I'd have gone to any other gym, like if Jack had trained at a different place that was closer and I didn't, my life would have been completely different. If I wasn't allowed to sleep in the gym, my life would have been completely different.
I disagree with you, and I'll tell you why. I'm a firm believer in visualization and manifesting your reality. Mm-hmm. The fact that your frequency, the frequency of your mind and your thoughts in that period of your life gravitated you towards that. I think whether it was Jack or fucking Jack shit, any fucking body, you would have still found a way to get back on that path because you were attracted to that. So regardless of where you were, at least I think that it would have found you or you would have found it, because the more you think about something, the closer it gets to you and it starts to manifest itself in your life. So I just think that was just a product of how your brain worked.
I mean, I completely agree.
It just happened to work out the way it did.
So looking back retrospectively at it, those moments, those people are the ones that have allowed me to, they're the ones that open the door.
Yeah,
I still had to walk through it, right? And I still
exactly.
had to do the fucking work. And there's that famous speech or whatever, I can't remember who it is, you'll know, who says like, firstly, I'd like to thank me for being me, and whatever it was. But like you have to show gratitude to those people, because without them, they're like the steps that helped me get to where I needed to be. And I still have good relationships with those guys, especially Nigel. I speak to him a lot. I still consider him, he's an older guy than me. He's been through a lot. He gives me a lot of great advice. And I listen to him because he's one of the best bits of advice he gave me, which was, I've had a lot of ups and downs. The thing about fighting is it's the fucking best thing in the world and the worst thing on the planet. Like it's when you win, you're the fucking man. Like, and you feel unbeatable. And there's this phrase in fighting, we say like, you cannot be held responsible for the first minute after you win. So when you win a fight and they give you a mic, you could say any random fucking shit. It doesn't matter. You cannot be held responsible, because those endorphins and all that pride and everything flowing through your blood, whatever you say will let you off. You know what I mean? Like, cool story, bro.
I mean, after I won my fight, like I was very emotional. I started crying. Like
I remember.
Yeah, it was just an emotional moment. So, and then I look back on it, I was like, why the fuck was I crying, bro? Like, you fucking pussy.
No, it's the opposite. It's like you allowed that emotion to over. Like I remember when I first walked out in the UFC. It was in the MGM the MGM in Vegas. And as I walk out, get emotional talking about it. It's weird. The guy that I lived with so eventually in the gym, I went from sleeping on the floor to getting a bed behind reception to getting an apartment above the gym, right? So when I had the apartment above the gym, there was a guy called Mika that I ended up living with. He's from Finland but lived in Cambridge, whatever. But like Mika was like, me and him were together every fucking day, training, whatever. So I remember on my walkout, they were like, Mika was there on the right as I walked out, and Nigel was there as well. The two, they were sitting together and I remember hugging them and starting to cry.
Yeah.
So it's like, on that moment when I'm walking to battle to fucking
Yeah.
fight some guy for my debut in the UFC, I was crying.
Wow.
So I think like controlling and allowing emotion to most people say, like you say, pussy. It's like you push yourself so far and so hard and like invested so much. I was there for the fight, so I know, in the camp and everything. And I know because I ran the camp. The camp was fucking hard, and we pushed you guys beyond any boundary that you probably knew you had. So then to go out there and to do it and to fight and to win, emotions are high. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. So your emotions, crying, whatever you want to call it. But even if you lost, you would have cried. It's the same. You know, it's just that emotionality is so high. So you have those. I had that moment. Like I said, walking to the cage, I cried. I won that fight by decision. Got a contract in the UFC. Won a bonus. Whatever. Those moments are like.
That's the highlight.
The highlight.
Yeah.
But then I've also had moments where I get knocked out and I'm in the bathroom on my own crying.
Yeah.
You know.
So you're at the complete opposite end of the spectrum.
Yeah. So like Nigel said to me that he said. When I was going through this, and I'm going through it now financially as well. You know, you have amazing months where you make loads of money, and life's great, and then you have months where you don't make money, you can't pay bills,
Yeah.
The stress of that, like the yo-yo. And Nigel always said to me, he goes, whenever you think it's really, really good, it's not as good as you think.
Yeah.
And whenever you think it's really, really bad, it's not as bad as you think. You need to remember like the spectrum, right? It's never as bad as you think, it's never as good as you think. And if you live, but then it's like, I get to this point because I'm kind of there now. I'm pretty level-headed, and I feel like I'm missing out on the joy of like the excitement. You know what I mean? Like, oh my god, this is amazing! I'm smashing it. You know, now I'm just like, meh, it's not as good as I think it's going to be.
Yeah.
You know, and I might perform better because of that, and it might bring me more, but I don't get that childhood like.
Yeah, that excitement that everything's new and. You want to,
You know me. Like, I'm like, sweet, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
sweet, bro.
yeah. I'm very.
We made $1 million, bro.
Yeah, it's all right.